Hello and welcome to News Central Television. I am Lekon Onobanjo. The top stories at this hour. Drunken driver rams into soldiers during morning training. Many fear dead. PDP governors to convene emergency meeting today to address party crisis as it deepens. Goma residents feared starvation amid attacks by M23 forces. Details to come your way shortly. We begin the news on a rather sad note where tragedy struck in Lagos early Friday morning when a suspected drunken driver rammed into a unit of soldiers performing morning physical training at the Myong Barracks Army Sports Camp. Eyewitnesses described the scene as chaotic, with blood scattered everywhere. One soldier who narrowly escaped the incident reported that 3 young men, believed to be internet fraudsters, were in the vehicle. While one of the suspects fled, the other 2 were severely beaten and their vehicle vandalized. This is a developing story, and we will bring you updates in our subsequent bulletins. Away from that, the 5th Lake Chad Governors Forum entered its day 2 yesterday, even as civil society organizations and other development partners have urged governments in the regions to adopt a unified digital tracking system to monitor human movement and address the proliferation of arms. Stakeholders highlight the menace of drug abuse as it has become a burden too heavy for the society. News Central's Umar Kirawa has been tracking the proceedings of the meeting, and of course, I will bring you details in our subsequent bulletin. We leave that to tell you that a devastating fire outbreak occurred at a filling station in Dutango, Jigawa State on Thursday evening, causing widespread damage and panic. The incident happened around 8 p.m. when a fuel tanker exploded while offloading fuel at the Shakotu filling station along Kiyawa Road. Eyewitnesses described the scene as chaotic, with people running for their lives. The filling station and several nearby properties were damaged, but fortunately, there are no reported deaths so far. The Jigawa State Police Command, through its spokesperson, SP Shiswadam, confirmed the incident, saying that they received a report of the fire outbreak at about 8 p.m. And now we'll bring you the report as regards the 5th Lake Chad Basin Governors Forum. That talks have gone around dealing with issues around drug trafficking and the need for a unified digital tracking system to monitor movements and, of course, address the proliferation of arms in the northern belts. Let's take a listen.
Discussions still ongoing as key stakeholders from Nigeria, Chad, Cameroon and Niger leverage on the 5th Lake Chad Governors Forum to cross-fertilize ideas on security, climate change, and improving livelihood of the people of the region.
I think the cross-border leadership should really work around addressing the issues of proliferation of small arms and financing terrorism in the Lake Chad region, because when we are able to empower people, then you can disconnect the process of financing terrorism, and also a central coordinating dashboard across the region will really help. If we have a central coordinating dashboard that's showing what's happening in Nigeria, what's happening in Chad, what's happening in Cameroon, what's happening in Nigeria, dashboard that track the movement of people, track the movement of arms, and critically addressing the poverty issues, the climate change issue, then we can be able to address those challenges.
We need to sustain this move and then to ensure that we continue to unite citizens, especially the ones that are residing in communities that are closer to the Lake Chad, to ensure that they take in the ownership, they take in the buy-in of their own safety and security, and then alert the authorities that are responsible.
Young people are being used as the agent for the recruitment of the Boko Haram that bring us to where we are today. And that is why in every policy discussion, in every policy engagement, the young people has to play a vital role in terms of promoting or in terms of collaboration to ensure that they are engaged economically and they are empowered.
They stressed that a data-driven system will significantly enhance monitoring efforts towards stemming the tides of insecurity.
All the government should be proactive in taking mitigation and also rehabilitating humans, because humans, more especially on the shore of the Lake Chad, because of degraded land, people are now depending on cutting down of trees as a source of fuel, firewood, and source of livelihood. So that is why there is a need for government to support agriculture.
While the discussions continue, the civil society groups call on the regional leaders and donor agencies to support the technological initiative of monitoring movement, ensuring a sustainable and effective digital security strategy for the Lake Chad Basin. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
We now talk about political party crisis. The People's Democratic Party's elected governors under the platform of the PDP Governors Forum have started arriving in Asaba, Delta State capital, south of Nigeria, for a slated meeting on Friday to redress the challenges plaguing the party. This meeting is coming barely 2 days after the party's BOT meeting on Wednesday in Abuja was marred by rowdy scenes after supporters of Senator Samuel Anyanwu allegedly attacked the party's former youth leader, Sunday Ude Okoye. The PDP had been engulfed in crisis since the 2023 elections, with many party members alleging that the crisis rocking the main opposition party is fueled by party leaders who are supposed to unite them.
Who is here to represent his governor, my own governor, deputy governor. I welcome all of you, especially my brother governors and your entourage, to Delta State. Here is the big house. This state banquet is not the place for long speeches. It is an avenue to fellowship and share banter. It gives us all the opportunity to unwind and let off some steam before the May agenda tomorrow morning. It is my earnest expectation that upon departure, you will leave here with fond memories, and the resolutions we will reach tomorrow will impact positively on our party and our country at large. What is more important is the unity of this nation, and I believe we will do our best to see how we will have unity in our party and in Nigeria. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the evening. Thank you for coming, and thank you for coming to show me love. God bless you all.
Now, reactions are trailing the recent cabinet reshuffle by the governor of Plateau State, Caleb Mutfwang. In a press statement signed by the secretary to the state government, Samuel Jatto, the governor gave no reasons for the development, but wished them well in their future endeavor, while immediately appointing their replacements. News Central's Chizomayowe has more in this report.
On the 4th of August 2023, the 5 affected commissioners from the Ministries of Budget and Economic Planning, Youth and Sports, Tourism, Science and Technology, as well as Commerce, alongside 14 others, were inaugurated and urged by Governor Caleb Mutfwang to join hands with his government in developing Plateau State. 18 months after, the state governor decides he needs to rejig his cabinet.
This is a sign and some kind of caveat to those in authority to tighten their belts, to do the needful, to work in the interest of Plateau State, to support His Excellency in dishing out the dividends of democracy to Plateau people.
The commissioner is also quick to speak on the expectation of the governor from the new commissioners.
They should know that this is the time for growth. They should know that the land is green. They should key in and socket into the mandate, into the vision, into the philosophy, mission of His Excellency Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang.
A cross-section of residents of Plateau feels the move, which is the governor's first since assuming office, is a welcome development.
The reshufflement yesterday was timely, and Plateau citizens will expect that the new ones that are coming in will definitely bring in new ideas.
It's a lesson for them. In the future, when an opportunity is given to them, they should sit up. And for those coming in, I advise that they should actually serve as expected.
Like the governor said, he wants to see performance. He wants to see credibility for people to feel governance. I think that is the essence of it. To me, it's a welcome development.
With opinions of people in the state, expectations are actually high for these new commissioners that will be coming on board. They are expected to bring in novel ideas that will cause more developmental strides in the state. In Jos, Plateau State for News Central, I am Chizoba Aniowe.
We now talk about the U.S. HIV waiver. Nigeria has welcomed a crucial decision by the United States government to approve an emergency humanitarian waiver ensuring uninterrupted HIV treatment for millions across the world. The waiver comes at a critical time as the U.S. Department of State had recently announced a 90-day funding freeze for all foreign assistance. The National Agency for the Control of AIDS has expressed gratitude for the U.S. government's swift action, acknowledging the potential disruption the funding freeze could have caused. The agency noted that the waiver demonstrates the U.S. government's commitment to global health and its recognition of the devastating impact of HIV/AIDS. This development is a significant relief for Nigeria, which has the second largest HIV population in the world, with over 1.8 million people living with the disease. Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima had noted at the just concluded World Economic Forum in Davos that it does not support foreign aid from developed nations as the solution to the economic challenges facing Africa and other southern global countries. In recent years, cybercrime has taken a dangerous turn, with cases of online fraud, misinformation, hacking, and identity theft becoming more prevalent. One recent case that has sparked public debate is that of activist and journalist Omoyele Sowore, who was reportedly accused of cyber stalking and defamation. His case underscores the increasing scrutiny on digital activities and the potential consequences of violating Nigeria's Cybercrime Act.
Cybercrime in Nigeria has evolved from basic internet scams to more sophisticated cyber offenses, including financial fraud, cyber stalking, and identity theft. But how aware is the public about cyber offenses?
Illegal activities on the internet. There was a time when Twitter was banned, you understand? Then when the federal government released it, I saw a lot of rules. I read the rules. So I knew if you post a lot of things that are wrong, even wrong allegations can lead to, you understand?
Cybercrime is in my opinion, is any crime that is committed over the internet with anything digital.
Let everybody be accountable for whatever they post online, because this will reduce the issue of cybercrime.
The 2015 Cybercrime Act prescribes penalties ranging from heavy fines to imprisonment for offenses such as hacking, cyberstalking, and online harassment. However, concerns have been raised about the selective enforcement of the law, particularly in cases involving journalists and activists. A notable example is the case of Omoyele Sowore, a Nigerian activist and journalist who is currently facing legal proceedings related to alleged cybercrime offenses.
It's not very good for the global image of Nigeria. It could go a long way in damaging the reputation of Nigeria. Nigeria at the moment is struggling with the reputation crisis. Everywhere you go, most Nigerians are not treated well because they have been profiled as criminals. That should not be the case.
Legal analysts emphasize the importance of distinguishing between legitimate digital journalism and cyber offenses. While laws must be upheld, there is a growing call for a balanced approach that protects free speech while punishing cyber criminal activities.
From the Cybercrimes Protection and Prevention Act of 2015, one of the penalties attached to it is, if you are you have been sentenced, if you have been convicted and sentenced, you risk serving a jail term of about 7 years, and at the same time, you also risk paying a fine of 7 million or both.
Cybercrime remains a major concern in Nigeria, with authorities intensifying enforcement. While legal measures are necessary to curb fraudulent activities, the application of these laws must be transparent and fair. All and sundry are advised to stay informed and exercise caution in their digital interactions. In Lagos, for News Central, I am Bettina Nwili.
Many thanks for staying with us as we bring you judicial stories. The Court of Appeal in Abuja on Thursday upheld the proscription declaration of the Indigenous People of Biafra, naming it a terrorist organization. IPOB had on January 18, 2018, been proscribed by the late former Chief Judge of the Federal High Court in Abuja, Justice Adamu Abdulkafarati, a declaration the group had since appealed. In the appeal, IPOB challenged its proscription as a terrorist organization by the federal government. The trial court proscribed IPOB following an ex parte motion filed by the immediate past Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, on behalf of the federal government. In a ruling, Justice Abdulkafarati declared all IPOB activities as illegal. And elsewhere, the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, Abia State Branch, has suspended its 3-week-old industrial action. In a press statement signed by the chairman and secretary of the body in the state, Chinedu Eze and Chibueze Umachukwu, the state government has paid full outstanding salaries using the judiciary workers' salary structure, as well as implementing the minimum wage. The statement further expresses hope that other issues agreed upon in the Memorandum of Understanding will be implemented accordingly to further strengthen the judiciary and enhance justice delivery in Abia State. The State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Ikechukwu Umana, had assured that the union will resume work once they receive their full payments.
Agreements the government reached with JUSUN is multi-pronged. It's not just based on the payment of the new minimum wage, which has already been effected. Why I say already effected is that, as some of you may be aware, members of the judiciary yesterday received the first part of their payment. I think that's payment for November 2024, and the rest to be paid. They will receive the money for the rest, I think today, before the close of business today, they will receive the money for the rest. So that is to say that the payment process has commenced.
But I'll tell you that the federal government of Nigeria has donated 30 million naira to the family of the late Pa Taiwo Akekumi, designer of Nigeria's national flag, nearly 2 years after his passing. The check was presented by the Director General of the National Orientation Agency, Lanre Isaonilu, and Oyo State NOA Director Olukemi Afolayan at Akekumi's residence in Elebu, Ibadan. Pa Akekumi, who passed away on August 29, 2023 at the age of 87, was honored for his remarkable contribution to the nation. Isaonilu emphasized that the donation was not a payment for his services, but a gesture of appreciation for his lasting impact. The national flag, designed 64 years ago, remains a symbol of Nigerian unity and pride. Away from that, Nigeria's First Lady has donated 10,000 professional kits to midwives across the north-central states of the country. The First Lady, while making the donation in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, says that over 54,000 midwives have also been trained out of a projected 120,000 as part of efforts to end maternal mortality in the country and improve service delivery to expectant mothers. Amadine Uyi tells us more.
According to available data, Nigeria accounts for up to 30% of global maternal deaths, with about 1,407 deaths per every 100,000 deaths. Many believe more needs to be done to end this trend. The First Lady of Nigeria, in a bold move to tackle this problem, has donated 10,000 professional kits to midwives across the north-central states of the country.
I am honored to officially flag off the distribution of 10,000 professional kits to midwives in the north-central state, namely Benue, Kogi, Kwara, Nasarawa, Niger, Plateau, and the Federal Capital Territory.
The event, which held at Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, had in attendance several high-ranking officials from the state, including the state governor. The First Lady says that training interventions are also being carried out for midwives and health workers to improve their capacity.
This is to complement the ongoing federal government retraining exercise of 120,000 frontline health workers nationwide. I am informed that the 54,346 health workers have already completed their training, and that is why the Renewed Hope Initiative, RHI, procured 60,000 branded scrubs and 60,000 cloths as an incentive to encourage and support the tireless dedication of our midwives.
Others in attendance commended the gesture, saying it will improve service delivery and care for pregnant women.
This general support of providing 10,000 professional kits will undoubtedly empower midwives in the North Central Zone with the motivation to deliver quality and compassionate care to mothers and newborns.
Today's event, the presentation of 10,000 professional kits to midwives in the North Central Zone of our country, is not just a symbolic gesture. It's a significant stride towards strengthening the capacity of midwives and advancing the goals of sustainable development.
The provision of these kits will not only ensure that our health workers are well equipped to perform their duties, but also send strong message of solidarity and hope to those who are devoted to protecting the health of our mothers and children.
The First Lady says that the gesture is part of the federal government's Renewed Hope Initiative. In Abuja for News Central, I am Amadin Uyi.
Still bringing you health-related stories, the Lagos State government has assured the residents of accessible and affordable medical goods to improve their overall well-being. This assurance was made known at the unveiling of the new pharmaceutical warehouse in Kapa, Oshodi area of Lagos State. News Central's Omoyele Sowore has more in this report.
The Nigerian pharmaceutical market is a growing one, with over 70% of medicines being imported, according to Pharma West Africa. This is due to lack of pharmaceutical warehouses responsible for effective and secure distribution of medical goods. It is on this premise that the Ministry of Health under the Lagos State government commissioned a pharmaceutical warehouse to provide high-quality drugs that helps improve general well-being of its citizens.
It's just an assurance for our citizens in Lagos that whatever products they get from us in Lagos State to them in the public sector or even in the private sector, they are good quality drugs. They're not fake, they haven't expired, and the components that make up the drugs have not been altered, so they're getting the real deal.
If we have this and we have the right technology with it, which we've already deployed as well, it means we're not going to get things being expired while they're stock under newer things. We're going to be able to effect a first in, first out policy, and things won't expire on us. That saves money, and it also saves people taking things that have expired.
Pharmaceutical warehouses play a critical role in the supply chain, connecting manufacturers with healthcare providers. Experts therefore emphasize the importance of the new warehouse in providing affordable and accessible medical goods to residents.
We have the human resources to do the analysis. So before anything even gets to the supply chain of the state government, we can analyze the medicines. So from this end, there can never be anything like fake or counterfeit medicines getting into circulation from this end.
It's going to make it make drugs available, high-quality drugs, access to drugs for all general hospitals, teaching hospitals, and even the private sectors, they will be able to access drugs at affordable prices and access generally, quality and access to drugs.
The country's healthcare system largely depends on medicines to function, and the opening of the warehouse will foster safe storage of medicine required to meet the citizens' health needs. In Lagos for News Central, I am Omolola.
Away from health to security, Abia State Governor Alex Otti on Thursday presented 5 armored personnel carriers to the State Police Command. He said the purpose was to adequately equip the police in Abia State for crime fighting. The governor, during the handover ceremony at the Government House in Umuahia, said it is important to refurbish the old carriers that have been abandoned for years instead of the procurement of new ones. The Commissioner of Police, Danladi Isa, while taking delivery of the vehicles, assured of increased tempo in the fight against all forms of crimes in the state using the incentives they have been provided with.
Just about maintenance. So, our belief is that never again would we allow our assets to dilapidate in this state. A lot of things we throw away, they can be easily fixed, and we have demonstrated it. So I will charge the men that will use this to ensure that they are used carefully. And if there's anything that needs to be repaired, repair it quickly. Because if you don't, you will spend 2-3 times to repair it.
What the world, what the police needs is there are tools to work with. And in your understanding and magnanimity, you have always stood solidly behind us to create an enabling environment for us to work so that we can have relative peace in the state. We want to thank you. And we want to promise that these APCs are going to be judiciously used.
Looking at Africa now, residents of Goma in eastern DR Congo are living in fear as fighting between Congolese soldiers and the Rwanda-backed M23 armed group continues. The conflict has left the city scarred with bullet-riddled buildings and looted, burnt shops. Local resident Louis Furaha is pleading for assistance to prevent them from starving to death. Since the M23 and Rwandan forces entered the city on January 26, over 100 people have been killed. The fighting has cut off electricity, internet, and severely limited access to essential medicines. As the situation worsens, residents are urgently calling for international assistance to prevent further suffering and starvation.
Woga ingali tena mingi zaidi sababu hatuyakuwa stable, hatuyajua kama tuko mkia wapi na hatuyajua kama marenyo zabo zeviko naongea kule wale wakubwa juu, hatuyajua kama wanaishia mpaka wapi mpaka leo. Sababu na radio zote wanazifunga, hatuna hata formation moya na tuko sasa tuko mubatoe haina pilote mpaka leo.
Tulikimbia vitu vyote, hatuna hata na nguo kuvala, chakula tuko nasikia njala, tunataka kufia mnyumba na watoto njala, hatuna maji ya kukunya, hakuna kura. Na sasa tuko tunagonjwa mnyumba, tunakosa dawa. Mtusaidie kabisa, mtusikilie huruma juu tukibakia hivi tutakufa shibo wote na manjala.
Tunaendelea kusikitika, tunasikitika sababu vitu vingi vinapotea, watu wengi wanafariki. Lakini kwa leo tunaomba serikali wala serikali mpya tunakuja nayo itupatie amani, turudishie vitu vyote. Mai hatuna kura. Mpaka saa hii tungali naogopa kutembea.
Amani yetu tunatafuta, amani kuwe. Sio population hatuna na ofu, tuko na susia amani kuwe. Batengeneze Goma yetu kwa kisi na kuwaka. Watusaidie sana, hili ndio tunaomba.
He has announced the recapture of Umrawaba, a key city in North Kordofan, on Thursday from the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces. The RSF has held the city since May 2023. Located 480 kilometers southwest of Khartoum, Umurawaba sits on a vital highway linking central Sudan to the region. The army claims to have cleansed the city of RSF forces, marking a significant victory. The battle for Sudan continues as Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan fights against his former ally, RSF leader Mohamed Hamdan Daglo. Recent army advances include regaining control of key areas in Khartoum and Wad Madani, signaling growing momentum in the ongoing conflict. Now, Burkina Faso's army, supported by civilian militias, have successfully repelled an attack on the northern city of Djibo on Thursday, as armed groups attempted to breach the blockaded city. Local residents reported heavy gunfire, particularly from the northeastern entrance, before the situation was brought under control. The assault, attributed to the jihadists linked to the Al-Qaeda-affiliated group for the support of Islam and Muslims, targeted military positions within the city. Although no official casualty figures have been released, locals confirmed there were victims. Djibo, surrounded by armed groups, has faced repeated attacks, and its neighboring town of Seba recently received its first aid supplies in 6 months. Burkina Faso continues to battle rising violence linked to jihadist groups. Outside of Africa, we tell you that U.S. President Donald Trump has blamed diversity policies under former presidents Barack Obama and Joe Biden for poor safety standards. This comes after a deadly crash between a military helicopter and a passenger plane over Washington. Trump claimed that the previous administration's prioritized policy over safety, citing a supposed directive that deemed certain groups too white. He emphasized his own commitment to safety, stating that competence should be the primary consideration.
A group within the FAA, another story, determined that the workforce was too white, that they had concerted efforts to get the administration to change that and to change it immediately. This was in the Obama administration just prior to my getting there. And we took care of African Americans, Hispanic Americans. We took care of everybody at levels that nobody's ever seen before. It's one of the reasons I won. But they actually came out with a directive too white. And we want the people that are competent.
Meanwhile, a group of Panamanian students are staging a protest in the capital just 2 days before the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio's visit, marking the first stop on his Central American tour. The protest comes as Rubio prepares for his first trip abroad since taking office, where he is expected to discuss President Donald Trump's agenda. Among the key issues is Trump's vow to assert greater control over the Panama Canal. The students, however, voiced opposition, expressing concerns over U.S. influence in the region ahead of what could be a tense diplomatic visit. The protest highlights the growing unease over U.S. policies in Central America.
Pero definitivamente no vamos a ceder una pizca a que nuestra soberanía, nuestra independencia, nuestra autonomía de decidir con quién Panamá puede y debe negociar en el caso del tránsito del Canal de Panamá, una sola pizca, no vamos a hacer una sola pizca sobre eso, porque en verdad eso es retroceder en la historia que tenemos de lucha, de conquista de nuestro espacio, de nuestro país, de nuestra tierra, y eso no hace, digamos, justicia a toda la sangre que ha sido derramada y tampoco a los intereses que tenemos como nación. Digamos que en principio por la visita de Marco Rubio, definitivamente en estos momentos Panamá sufre una gran acusación de parte del gobierno de Estados Unidos y potencializado por este personaje, quien hoy no funge realmente como un representante de la hispanidad, de esa ascendencia hispana que tiene.
Talking business now. The Federal Inland Revenue Service has raked in a historic 21.6 trillion naira in revenue for the year 2024, marking a 76% increase from the previous year's 12.474 trillion naira. It is also higher than the 19.4 trillion naira targeted, as all tax types in 2024 outperformed previous year's record. The growth was driven primarily by non-oil taxes, which exceeded targets by 28% and contributed 73.4% of total revenue. FIRS has set an ambitious 25.2 trillion naira revenue goal for 2025 with strong confidence in surpassing it. We also tell you that Tanzania and Burundi have signed a $2.15 billion deal with two Chinese firms, China Railway Engineering Group Limited and China Railway Engineering Design and Consulting Group, to build a railway linking the two countries. The 282-kilometer, 175-mile standard gauge line will transport metals, including nickel, to Tanzania's Dar es Salaam port, financed by the African Development Bank. The project is expected to move 3 million metric tons of minerals annually. This partnership follows China's continued investment in African infrastructure under its Belt and Road Initiative. Shell plc and its South African partner, Tebe Investment Corporation, are close to resolving a valuation dispute, paving the way for the sale of Shell's local downstream assets for up to $1 billion. The deal would include Shell's network of 600 service stations across South Africa, where Tebe holds a 28% stake. A potential agreement could value Tebe's stake at over $200 million, with interested buyers including Saudi Aramco, Abu Dhabi National Oil Corporation, and Trafigura. Rothschild is running the sale process, with binding offers expected in the coming weeks. In sports, Nigeria's junior female Yellow Greens will return home today at about 2 p.m. West African time to a warm welcome at the Cricket Lab in Teslim Balogun Stadium, Lagos, following an impressive run at the 2025 ICC Women's T20 World Cup in Malaysia. The team finished in the 6th place, securing automatic qualification for the next edition of the tournament. Their campaign ended with a thrilling 6-run victory over Ireland in the Super 6 stage on Wednesday, adding to their historic 2-round win over New Zealand in their debut appearance. Their only defeat came against South Africa in the group stage. The tournament wraps up on Sunday with the semi-finals set for Friday, further cementing Nigeria's growing stature in international women's cricket. The Confederation of African Football has announced major changes to player registration rules in the CAF Champions League and Confederation Cup, aligning with European standards. Footballers can now switch clubs within the same competition during a single season, mirroring UEFA's regulations. The move aims to boost competition, flexibility, and score depth in Africa's top club tournaments. Additionally, CAF has extended the player registration deadline to February 28, 2025, allowing clubs more time to strengthen squads for the later stages. The changes are expected to enhance the competitiveness of African club football, attract more fans and sponsors, and improve the continent's representation at the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup in the United States. We turn our attention to the UEFA League. Manchester United secured a place in the Europa League last 16 with a 2-0 win over FCSB in Romania, while Tottenham advanced via a top 8 finish with a 3-0 victory against Elfsborg. Second half goals from Diogo Dalot and Kobe Mainoo sealed United's win, avoiding the playoff round. Ruben Amorim's side extended their unbeaten run in the competition to 8 places, or 8 matches rather. Meanwhile, Tottenham struggled domestically, seeing academy graduates, that is Dane Scarlett, Damola Ajayi, and Mikey Moore, step up to secure progress. Ange Postecoglou's side, battling Premier League relegation concerns, earned relief as Scarlett, just back from a loan spell, broke the deadlock. Ajayi and Moore added late goals, ensuring Spurs direct passage to the Europa League last 16. Former Spanish football chief Luis Rubiales goes on trial on Monday over his first case on star striker Jenny Hermoso, a scandal that sparked global outrage. Prosecutors seek a 2.5-year prison sentence 1 year for sexual assault and 18 months for coercion, alleging Rubiales pressured Hermoso to downplay the incident. Former national team coach Yorgi Vilda and 2 ex-Federation officials, Ruben Rivera and Albert Luque, also face 18-month sentences for coercion. The controversy erupted after Spain's 2023 Women's World Cup victory when Rubiales kissed Hermoso without consent during the medal ceremony. He initially refused to resign, calling it a celebratory gesture, but stepped down in September 2023 amid mounting backlash and a formal investigation into his actions. And that's all at this hour. But before we go, we look at our top stories again. Drunken driver rams into soldiers during morning training. Many fear dead. PDP governors to convene emergency meeting today to address party crisis as it deepens. We also told you that Goma residents fear starvation amid attacks by M23 forces. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Lekon Onabanjo.